Family.
Family.
It's not something that comes up a lot in esports. Unless you follow the Valorant scene or other esports scene super close, you don't really see it all that much. You have people like Profi and Forsaken, I guess, which are two brothers. Generally, it's not really something that comes up a lot. To get super good at an esport, or specifically Valorant, you need a mix of both natural talent and a lot of hard work, and that's pretty hard to come by, let alone from two people from the same family. But in September, just after Masters 3, Team Liquid announced a new member to their roster. His name, Nivera, and he is Scream's brother. At the time I thought, cool, another CSGO player, dope. But in the coming weeks, I soon got to realize the real reason that they got Nivera onto the Team Liquid team. A string of upset and a series of tournament victories have left Team Liquid, a team who was once considered the best in EU, going down to being just considered a fluke, is once again in contention for the world champion. How did we get here? What's going on? How have Team Liquid proved themselves? And most importantly, will Team Liquid hire Dom Toretto for their newest signing?
It's family. It's family. Family. Family.
Welcome back to another episode of Off the Dome. My name is Dominic, and today we're going to be talking all about the new and improved Team Liquid. The main VCT season ended with Masters 3 in September. All that was left is the Last Chance Qualifiers in October for one team from each region to get a slot at Champs in December. It seemed as if there was a sort of power ranking of the top teams that was pretty set in stone. From North America, based off Berlin, it seemed like we had the monster trio of Sentinels, Envy, and 100 Thieves. Sentinels, the reigning Masters 1 and 2 champions, as well as 100 Thieves and Envy having absolutely stellar performances in Berlin. From the EMEA, we had Ascend, the de facto best team from Europe, as well as Gambit, potentially the new best team in the world, taking the tournament in a clean sweep 3-0. However, not everything is as easy as it seems. In North America, a surprising resigning from 100 Thieves IGL Steel meant that they were scrambling to get back in top form for the Last Chance Qualifiers for North America. What should have been a dominant performance from them ended up being a loss, with Cloud9 Blue ended up taking their spot for champions. The EMEA LCQ was not as one-sided as North America's should have been. There was a number of potential prospects from that region. We had G2, who had an amazing performance at Berlin with the Sentinels Slayer, beating the Sentinels pretty convincingly too. There was also Supermassive Blaze, who looked, again, very good going into Masters 3. They fumbled a bit during the tournament, so maybe they just need some more time to flourish. Finally, we had Team Liquid. After a lackluster Masters 2 performance, they returned to Stage 3 to squeak into Challengers Playoff. They lost to the two CIS representatives, Na'Vi and Gambit, to make it out in 5th. They made it into the Last Chance Qualifiers based off the points they earned from their Masters 2 run. With such a poor performance leading into the LCQ, no one could have expected what they're about to do. They crushed their way through winners, absolutely destroying G2 and taking the whole tournament from winners' side. How did they go from having such a lackluster performance to dominating that bracket? Let's go back just a little bit more. Let me give you a brief history of the team and how they actually got there. I actually already made a video on this, and honestly, it's out of date and kind of shit. So I'm going to briefly go over the history of Team Liquid. Team Liquid Valorant started off as a British prospect team, Fish123, who were at the top of the European Valorant scene in mid-2020. Team Liquid picked up the team in their entirety with one exception. They picked up a free agent on the market from CSGO who is... he's alright.
It has to be the 1v2 is Clutch coming in. Here's the aim star of the team, the big name when you talk about individuals. And can he make it happen? Another headshot collected. Just one more player. And Scream, he's looking hungry for it. He's looking back over towards the connector. And there it is from Scream. Making his way towards the side. The bomb's still on the floor. Scream gonna try and take the fight. There it is. Can he? Oh my god. Scream pulls it off again.
Scream is a Belgian CSGO flick god, making the HLTV top 20 on a number of occasions, and is known for his incredible aim and his experienced career. My personal favorite tidbit about reading about Scream was that he also has the highest headshot percentage in any professional game of CSGO of all time, with 95% headshot. He missed a single one. He was 22 out of 23. It's pretty good. Despite him retiring from CSGO, the flame of competition still burned bright, and to this day, he is still considered one of the best players in Valorant right now. As a team, they struggled a bit at the beginning. However, at the beginning of Stage 2, they replaced Elks with another CSGO rising star, Yumpy, and they were starting to see results. They had a meteoric rise through Stage 2. They went from just barely making it to the playoff bracket to winning it all over EMEA's best, like Ascend, FPX, lol, and Gambit. Scream, with the addition of Yumpy and the support from his team, were playing insane. They went on to play in Masters 2 Reykjavik as the top EMEA seed. However, it didn't go quite as planned. They lost to NA's number 2, V1, and then lost to Europeans number 2, Finatic, placing 5th at Reykjavik overall. Oh. After this, people began questioning whether their run was just sort of luck. They dodged a lot of the frontrunners in the playoff bracket, with their only significant victory being over FPX, which, as we know now, may not be the best victory. Team Liquid's struggle continued into Stage 3 as they lost to Finatic and FPX in Challengers 1, and qualified through Challengers 2 against a reduced talent pool. They started off the playoff bracket with a tough loss to Navi in round 1, and made a little bit of a loser's run before losing to the eventual champions, Gambit. In my opinion, at this point, Team Liquid is still a pretty good team. They only just barely lost to Gambit, and they were actually one win away from making it to that Berlin spot. But again, the spotlight just wasn't on them. They were having good showings, but honestly weren't playing to their top form. So what changed? At the end of September, while people were still buzzing about Gambit's win for the CIS, Team Liquid had a new announcement. Cryptix had stepped down for personal reasons from the team, so they had to fill it with a new player. And as I said earlier, they picked it up with Nivera.
Walks in, gonna make sure they don't even have a damn chance.
Even jiggles and hits the shot as well. Go on, Nivera.
Nivera is a CSGO rising star from Vitality who's looking to change from CSGO to Valorant, and more importantly, is Scream's younger brother. He is a rifler and opper and has some pretty good performances in his career, and he is now in Valorant offering the same impressive ability and game sense that rivals his brother. He's still pretty young as well, so he has a long future in the sport. As a duo, Scream and Nivera would prove to be unstoppable.
And now Leo and Safe in the deep post plants, trying to play for this spike, gonna try and get it halfway. Nivera's got that done, he's not moving, he's not stopping.
Nivera plays Sentinels and offered a pretty impressive use of abilities considering how short his competitive career has been. Because of Team Liquid's impressive firepower behind Scream, Yumpy, and now Nivera, they started playing with much more aggressive tactics, including the double op, which I'm a huge fan of, by the way. I think it's pretty funny. The Last Chance Qualifier was Nivera's first professional tournament with the team. After seeing him play and learning about the caliber of player, I really wanted to check this team out, and so I watched their first match.
He's already getting a good bit of damage. Nivera starting off with a triple. If this man starts his career with an ace, I'm speechless. Let it do it, and he gets that ace. This is where you see where he might be a little bit new, as that is obviously not going through, but is obviously Scream who's making them all a little nervous.
One enemy remaining.
And feeble. The attack that looks so nice for OBG, but it's still Zeddy who's on it. One frag found, and he tries to use his ult.
But we might just get the one at this point, especially if Scream is able to find a few more kills.
True, but at the same time, it doesn't look like we're getting any of that. No chance at all. That's not going to happen. A 13-0. We were starting off with an ace from the new player.
In the first match of the tournament on Ascent versus One Breath Gaming, it was a 13-0. Scream and Nivera were at the top of the leaderboards, and they went on to dominate the whole tournament, beating even the tournament favorite G2 to win the entire thing and securing their spot for champion at the end of the year. Team Liquid was a team that was the definition of a star that shines the brightest, burns the quickest. But with their new lineup, it seemed to ground them in reality, and they're starting to redefine the meta with new tactics, and with the momentum going into the biggest tournaments of the year, they could really make waves at champions. But they weren't done yet. Unlike North America, where every tier 1 team is a pussy and won't enter any tournaments that aren't Riot sanctioned. Please, I'm sorry, just enter some tournaments. I just want to. Please stop screwing. I just really want to watch you guys play. I'm a big fan. Please sponsor me, please. The EMEA is bustling with weekly tournaments with both big and small teams from the region. Red Bull hosted Homegrounds 2, which invited EMEA's best teams including G2, Navi, Giants, 10-Star, and Nubis, as well as all 4 champions representatives, Finatic, Ascend, Gambit, and of course, Team Liquid. This was going to be a litmus test for Team Liquid, who was hot off of proving that they were the best of the rest of the EMEA, but now going against the best European team in Ascend, and potentially the best team in the world, Gambit from the CIS. Sorry, Finatic, you guys are... Well, you'll probably make it out of groups. I believe in you. Team Liquid wiped the floor with their group, obvi, going 3-0 against Footballist, Big, and... On their side of the finals bracket, Liquid cleaned up Finatic and Big, fighting Ascend in the finals. And quick aside, if you didn't catch this, actually, Ascend kind of popped off on Gambit. Cena was looking super strong against them, and in map 2, they actually 13-0'd them on Bind. super impressive stuff. Nats and Redguard were kind of not doing their best. This isn't Ascend's first time beating Gambit, but going to Master 3, Gambit definitely had their number. I highlight this not because I think that Gambit is washed, much like probably a lot of the VLR forums are guessing. I haven't even read them yet, but I'm just going to assume. But it just speaks to how good Ascend is. And having both Ascend and Gambit as EMEA representatives is going to be super interesting. But they aren't the only threats from the EMEA. In one of the best matches of the whole year, Team Liquid took Ascend 3-1 in 4 nail-biting matches. Every single match was decided by 2 points, either being 13-11 or going into overtime. With this victory, Liquid has proven themselves as a world-class team. Not only do they have the momentum going into Champions, but they have beaten, or proverbially beaten, every single other EMEA representative going into this tournament, including 2 potential champions. They're looking pretty good. It's not a stretch to say that Team Liquid is going in as one of the contenders for winning Champions in its entirety. Picking up Nivera was much more than a PR move. He was the perfect man for the role. He is smart, he is quick, and most importantly, he has been the catalyst that has brought Team Liquid back to the forefront of the European Valorant scene. Some say that they were never gone, and don't get me wrong, Scream is still one of the best players in the world. They're still a very strong team, but I think this has shown a light back on them as they are starting to play hot again. With their 2 most recent tournaments dominating the LCQ and beating some of the world's best teams through the Red Bull tournaments, they have cemented themselves, in my mind at least. I think there's gonna be some fuckers in the comments that are gonna shit on me anyways, tell me I'm dog shit stupid. As potential world champions. I guess when you're down on your luck, all you need is a little family. That's so annoying. I'm not using that. I hate that, dude. Turn this off, dude. Thank you so much for watching. If you've been wondering where I'm at, I made an update video right here. You can check that out. I'm still super excited to see Team Liquid play at Champions. And if you're interested in watching Champions and joining me for Champions, I'm going to be doing a live stream on Tuesday, November the 30th. Going over what the teams are going and how I think they're going to do. The VOD will be up too, so you can watch that later. But if you want to join the live stream, talk to me, see what's up, that's all good. You'd also join my Discord where we all talk about Champions and talk about esports and talk about Valorant. Honestly, it's a super fun time. We're always chatting shit about some random stuff. If you haven't liked the video and you've watched this far, what are you doing, man? Anyways, thank you. Have a good one. Peace.